Quick quiz, what's the best cocktail named for a corrupt political machine from Boston? The Ward 8, of course. So let's make a Ward 8. I don't know if there's actually corruption involved. I just assume that old-timey cocktails that have to do with it. It's a safe bet. Ward boss doesn't sound like an above-board job, right? There's a myth that says that the Ward 8 was created in 1898 by Tom Hussion, Hussion, I like Hussion, we'll call him Hussion. By Tom Hussion at the Loch Ober, which is what the Winter Palace Hotel became known as apparently, to commemorate an election victory by Martin the Mahatma Lomasney, the ward boss of North Boston, political player. I mean, now Wondrich says that story was published in a 1951 Holiday magazine, making it not really contemporary to when the drink was invented, so he questions its validity. He says that a 1936 letter to the Sun credits it to Charlie Carter at Lomasney's own Puritan Club. I don't know, another date. There's a couple of different stories, all credible. It doesn't matter. The Ward 8, Ward 8, Ward 8. So we're gonna shake this drink. It's kind of like a whiskey sour. I don't think you guys need much more history about it. Let's shake it up and get into it here on the How to Drink Friday show. We're gonna need a 1/4 ounce of Grenadine in my shaker. I love Grenadine. It's a great cocktail ingredient. I strongly encourage you to make your own because it's very, very easy to make from pretty accessible ingredients. And the stuff that you're gonna find at the supermarket, at least Rose's, is not so great. I need 1/4 ounce of fresh squeezed orange juice. You're gonna have to take my word for it. It's fresh squeezed. 1/2 an ounce of lemon juice. And now I need 2 ounces of rye whiskey. I am, of course, going to use my Rittenhouse Bottle and Bond 100 proofer. Good stuff. Okay, this is ready to shake, so let's shake this sucker. 1 ice, a Cuba. All right, shake it up. What's in my eye? Something's in my eye.
Lemon juice.
Probably. I'm gonna put this into this nice looking rocks glass. We're gonna put it over a big old cube. Pour that in there. Drink is traditionally lengthened with a splash of seltzer, so I'll follow suit. I'll give it a quick stir just to make sure that seltzer's not just sitting on top there. There's no real specific garnish that I'm aware of that goes with it, so hey, that 1890s thing going on. I was thinking a little pineapple would look good. I'm questioning that. What else could we do in there? A dash of mint wouldn't be the worst looking thing. A cherry? How about just some cherries? So we got 3 cherries here. 2 would have been enough, but if a little's enough, more is better. There we have a Ward 8. Let's give her a taste and I'll tell you what I think of it. What the fuck is in that? Did something go bad? Is that what it's supposed to taste like? It tastes like feet.
How much lemon juice do you need?
What do you guys try this real quick? I'm not even joking. Am I losing my mind? What the hell?
Grenadine.
I get like the lemon. What a weird twist that drink takes. It just goes into a... I don't like this drink. I don't... All right, look, I've never had a Ward 8, honestly. I've made this to spec as best as I could. But something's not right in here. There's like an herbaceous turn in here that is not to my liking. This drink is It is, I could see it being to someone's liking. Let me just give you the notes that I'm gonna get right now. Lemon, that into like a dry, herbaceous thing. And that might be like the surviving notes of the rye. If the other flavors are masking every other part of the rye, I could see those being some parts of the rye that are coming through. And then that just kind of lingers on its way out. I think I can do an alternate version of this Ward 8 that will be more to my liking. And so I'm happy to present this version as the book is written, but right now I'm gonna do a little riff on this. Something we don't normally do on the episode, but in this case, I think it's kind of called for. Let's just gonna roll with it. We're just gonna do it. Ward 8 is a lot like, it's kind of a cousin to a whiskey sour, so I'm gonna treat it a little bit more like a sour. I'm gonna put it up in a coupe glass, and I'm gonna add an egg white, and we'll see if that changes this to something I like more. I'm gonna rebalance a few of the other ingredients too. Here we go. So, for starters, I think that was a little undersweetened. I'm gonna go a little heavier on a Grenadine pour this time around. I'm gonna go to a ½ ounce. We're gonna go with a ½ ounce of lemon juice, that's fine. The original recipe calls for a ¼ ounce of orange juice. I confess, I'm not really sure I understand the purpose of the orange juice in this drink. Because it's not gonna bring citrus to the fore in the presence of the lemon, I don't think. The sweetness is gonna be lost amongst the grenadine, so it seems to me that the orange juice ends up kind of just adding water to it. Part of me wants to just ditch it, but I'm afraid that then we're not really doing a Ward 8 anymore. Instead of standard orange juice, we're gonna add a ¼ ounce of this blood orange, which is going to have a couple of effects. One, it's going to add a little color back into this, a little more color to this drink. And two, blood orange is a little bit more bitter, slightly different than standard orange juice. I'm going to put my 2 ounces of rye in. Let's throw an egg white in there. If it's going to be a sour, if it's going to be a whiskey sour, let's make it a whiskey sour, all right? So I'm gonna dry shake this, and dry shaking is a process where we shake it with just our ingredients and no ice. Why do we do that? We do that with an egg white a lot of times to help it emulsify. The acid and the egg work better together without the ice present, particularly if you have lighter ice. I happen to have heavy ice, I can get away with just skipping it, but most people are not gonna have the same kind of ice that I'm using on the show, honestly, so it's best practice to dry shake. When you dry shake though, you don't have anything cold in there. And actually making the inside of this tin colder through shaking is actually what helps it seal. The cold air contracts, it pulls all the metal together, it actually creates a lower negative pressure area versus the room around it, so it actually kind of seals itself. Without that, we won't have that. And in fact, we have the opposite. The frothing and emulsifying of the egg almost expands, so it's gonna try to work against you. So you gotta hold it together pretty tight. That's good, that'll do it. Let's put our ice in. I'm going to garnish this with a line of Angostura bitters. All right, let's see how my version of the Ward 8 tastes. Oh my God, that's so much better. Oh, that's actually delightful. It is pomegranate and the bitter notes from the Angostura and the lemon and the orange flower water comes up from the grenadine, and then the rye spice, the baking, and the The rye spiciness comes in there. Yep, that's the better one. Watch out, Ward 8. There's a new king on the block. I don't know if the orange, the blood orange is super present, to be honest. I kind of just wanted to keep an orange element in there because of the familiar relation to the original Ward 8. Between the two, I like mine better, but this one came with cherries, so I do like cherries. I made a Ward 8, and then I made a Ward 8.5. It's like a variation on my drink. I'm gonna call the Ward 8.5. I like that. I'll see you guys next week with another cocktail on how to drink. Your home for keeping it real. Keeping it real. Think that could be my new catchphrase? Keeping it real?